Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Listen, with springtime here now, it's time to get your irrigation systems fired off. There's several different steps that you've got to go through, but there's one in particular I want to talk about that's very important because it can prevent you from causing a lot of damage, and that's going to be actually initially turning on the water. So most systems are going to have a ball valve, and that ball valve is going to be somewhere between your water meter and the actual vacuum breaker, which is somewhere on the side of your house. It's typically made out of copper. Some of them are PVC. It looks like the U-shaped thing, and it's got the little valves on top. The backflow preventer, vacuum breaker, they're called several different things. People refer to them as, but whenever you turn your system off in the wintertime, you should have killed the water going to this vacuum breaker, and that shut off all the water supply that fed it so that you could drain it, keep it from freezing. Now that springtime's here and we're going to turn it back on, it's very important to remember whenever you go to turn this on that you want to turn this valve slowly. You don't want to just go in there and just ram it on all at once, because when you do, what it'll create is what's called a water hammer. And what happens is that these pipes are sitting here, they've been empty all winter, so there's no water in it. If you just open this valve up really fast, all that water is going to come rushing, and when it gets to the first valve or vacuum breaker or wherever it is, this wall of water that's just going to be moving with all this force is going to run into that solid object or wherever it is, and it's called a water hammer. The water just hammers whatever that object is. The correct thing to do is to just barely crack it and then let the water slowly kind of fill up, and then crack a little more, and that just lets the pipes fill up, and it prevents this water hammer. It's also, don't be surprised whenever you turn that first valve on. You know, the first couple of minutes you're going to probably get a lot of air getting blown out of these lines, and they're going to spit and sputter, and this could go on for a couple of minutes in some cases. So don't be alarmed if you see that either. But also, I advise you, whenever you open up these different valves and you go to look for these ball valves, be very careful about just sticking your hand down in there initially. Over the winter, they can be the homes for, we've seen anything from snakes to spiders to scorpions, all kinds of different critters, if you will. But anyway, just remember, the first step in turning your system back on is to turn on this ball valve. And you want to make sure when you turn that ball valve on to turn it on slowly to prevent a water hammer. If you got any questions, let us know. We'll talk about some more tips later.